Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Sunday, November 13, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. The Buccaneers have lost 3 of their last 4 games and 3 of their last 5 home games. They have struggled offensively and were held under 20 points in 3 of their last 4 games. They are dead last in the league when it comes to running the ball, but they do a good job throwing the ball. Even though the Seahawks have struggled against the pass this season, they don't have to worry about the Buccaneers running on them and can focus on stopping Brady from hurting them through the air, so expect the Buccaneers to struggle offensively in this game. The Seahawks have won 5 of their last 6 games and 3 of their last 4 road games. They have played well offensively and do a good job throwing and running the ball. The Buccaneers have done a good job defending the pass, but they are one of the worst teams in the league when it comes to stopping the run, so expect the Seahawks to pound the ball on the ground and keep Brady on the sidelines as much as possible. Go with Seattle to cover the spread. These defenses have been dominant in their previous 4 games, as Seattle is giving 16.5 points per game, while Tampa Bay is allowing 20.3 points per game. Traveling across the world can really make the offenses look lethargic, especially in the opening stages of the game, and it will be difficult to see points being scored. Tampa is too one-dimensional to expect points out of them to hit their implied total as well. The under has hit in 6 of their last 7 Seahawks November games, as well as in 14 of the previous 17 NFC games for the Buccaneers. Go with under 44.5 points in this matchup as well. Kansas City Chiefs vs Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars started 2-1 before losing 5 straight games. Down 17-0 in the second quarter last week against the Raiders, the Jaguars fought to pull within 20-10 at halftime. In the second half, the Jags shut the Raiders out on the way to a 27-20 win. Jacksonville outgained the Raiders 403-321 in total yards. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence completed 25 of 31 passes for 235 yards and a touchdown. Travis Etienne Jr. had a strong game rushing for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns on 28 attempts. Etienne is now 5th in the NFL with 680 rushing yards and 10th, averaging 5.8 yards per rush. The Chiefs have actually dropped their last 4 games against teams with a losing record, but this is a good spot for that trend to change, as the Jags are just 1-7 Austrian shillings in their last 8 road games. Kansas City dominated everything except the scoreboard last week against the Titans and will be the best team the Jags have faced since they lost to the Eagles 29-21 during Week 4. I like how the Jags have been battling each week, but they are just 23rd in the NFL in yards allowed per pass over the last 3 weeks, and they will struggle to keep up with this Chiefs team. I expect Jacksonville to hang for a while, but I have to back Kansas City minus 9.5 points. The Chiefs have won 2 consecutive games, including an overtime win against the Titans. In that matchup, the Chiefs allowed 229 yards, surrendering 57 passing yards and 172 rushing yards. The offense recorded 499 total yards with 422 passing yards and 77 rushing yards. Despite the significant yardage difference, the Chiefs somehow managed to slip by the Titans in overtime. Kansas City is averaging 30.4 points per game this season, while allowing 23.6 points. They surrendered a total of 372.6 yards, conceding 270.6 yards through the air and 102 yards on the ground. On offense, they earn 103.5 rushing yards per game, while throwing for 325.6 yards. The Kansas City defense has combined for 22 sacks for 169 sack yards, 33 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, and 8 forced fumbles. Leading the offense is Patrick Mahomes with 2,605 yards, first, 21 touchdowns, first, and 6 interceptions, while completing 66.2% of his passes for an average of 7.9 yards per completion. In addition, Mahomes has rushed for 176 yards and 1 touchdown, averaging 6.5 yards per carry. Leading downfield is tight end Travis Kelce with 659 yards, 7th, and 7 touchdowns, first, in 57 receptions. Kelce has been targeted 77 times this season and has recorded 57 receptions. The Chiefs don't rush the ball much, but when they do they turn to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The running back has recorded 293 yards and 3 touchdowns in 69 attempts. Mecole Hardman, who has caught for 297 yards and 4 touchdowns this season, is questionable to play Sunday and did not practice Wednesday. Kansas City has an elite offense with Mahomes under center. His ability to keep plays alive and continue leading his team downfield will expose the Jaguars' defense. Jacksonville isn't known as a team with a defense that forces turnovers, and against the Chiefs' offense, that's the best way to get the ball back. I see Mahomes and Kelce penetrating the secondary pretty easily in this matchup, as Jacksonville won't have great coverage against them. I am confident in the Chiefs running the score up while allowing the Jaguars to score some points. With the Chiefs' ability to stop offenses, I see Lawrence struggling to get into the end zone, so they will earn most of their points by making field goals. Take the over, 50.5 points. New York Giants vs Houston Texans. On the year, Houston is 26th in passing offense with 188.6 yards per game through the air, while they stand 25th in rushing offense with 101.9 yards per contest. Houston is 28th in scoring offense with an average of 16.6 points per game, while they are 19th in scoring defense by allowing 22.9 points per contest. Davis Mills is 162 of 258 passing for 1,656 yards, with 10 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He has contributed 28 yards on the ground while getting sacked 19 times on the year. Rookie Dameon Pierce leads the team on the ground with 148 carries for 678 yards and 3 scores this season. Rex Burkhead, 23 carries, 81 yards, is next in line in the ground game. In the passing game, Brandon Cooks leads the way with 32 receptions for 354 yards and a score. Nico Collins, 18 grabs, 305 yards, Chris Moore, 14 receptions, 171 yards, 2 TD, and Jordan Akins, 11 grabs, 159 yards, TD, are the only other players with at least 150 yards receiving this season. Ka'imi Fairbairn is 13 of 13 on extra point attempts and 14 of 16 on field goals, with a long of 55 this season. New York had their bye last week, giving them 2 weeks to rue their loss to the Seahawks and to prepare for this contest. The Giants enter this week 6-2 and sit third in the NFC East behind the Eagles and Cowboys. Against Seattle, New York never led, though they hung around into the final stanza. The Giants were down 10-7 at the half and 13-10 after 3 quarters before tying the game with 11-17 to play in the contest. New York's defense blinked on the ensuing drive, allowing Seattle to cover 75 yards in 5 plays in only 1:59 to give up the go-ahead score. The offense couldn't respond, and Seattle salted it away with another touchdown with just over 5 minutes to go. New York was outgained 277-225 in total offense, gave up 19 first downs while allowing 14, and turned the ball over twice while forcing 1 takeaway. The Giants did win time of possession by a 33-34 to 26-26 margin, though that didn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. This could be a good matchup for the Giants' offense. Houston is last in the league when it comes to stopping the run, while New York is 4th in the league in rushing offense. Barkley has done a ton of damage via the ground game this season, and that could set Jones up for some play-action passes. The Texans' game plan on defense is going to be focused on trying to contain the run, but seeing how they have surrendered 5.5 yards per carry and 12 scores on the ground this season, it's tough to have faith in them. Houston's offense has been less than stellar as Mills has seemingly regressed from his rookie season. Pierce does his part on the ground, keeping the Texans in it for a while, but in the end, the Giants make the plays to win by a touchdown or so. Give the points and back the hosts. Take the New York Giants minus 4.5 points. We have 2 of the lowest scoring teams and least productive offenses coming together for this one. Combined they are averaging 37 points per game. During their current 3-game losing streak, the Texans are averaging 15.7 points per game, nearly a point less than their season average. From a total offensive yards side, the Texans are 30th, 2,324, and the Giants 28th, 2,565. Both passing games stink, so the bulk of yards will be gained on the ground, keeping the clock running and keeping this game under. Take the under, 40.5 points.